Okay, so I'm Grasswalker, you watched me draft this, and now I'm going to play it. It's the Omniscience draft, so everything costs nothing, and you get 5 mana a turn, one of each colour to do interesting things with. It's pretty much a coin flip, because it's just... If you have 5 Tithe Bearers in a row, all of a sudden you've got a field full of stuff. If you've happened to have drafted some bombs and you draw into them, then that's pretty much how you'll win. You usually don't want a mulligan because you only have 3 cards. Going 3 to 2 is backbreaking. They're starting off with a Tithe Bearer, as you'd expect. That's pretty much how this format goes. Everyone spams those. Which is interesting because it really clogs up the field. A bunch of 4/5s that can't attack or block each other, really. They can attack, but they'll get blocked. And they can block, but they won't kill anything. He's got a crocodile. He's got a bunch of creatures. So he's got a very creature-heavy start. This risks getting punished to a board wipe. We don't have one of those. No escape's a bit late because we went second. Again, it's a very coin-flippy format. Dread Malkin might want to get sacked to the Reaper. Alternatively... could block with the Malkin and then sack the Reaper, but I think we want to get rid of Dread Malkin. It's not doing anything for us. It's a 1/1. Doesn't have Death Touch, has Menace. That's not that much better for us. Give it haste. We're on the defensive here because he's got a better board. So what we can threaten to do is if he swings, for example, block the Turret Ogre with the Giant. I think that he'll be smarter than that. We have a counter, but only to creatures and planeswalkers. So he's offering us an interesting trade. We can use the Spark Reaper to sack the Shriek. And then we're gaining cards. We're not gaining cards, but we're cycling cards. That's nice. Now we're gaining cards. They've bounced off of each other. And we survived this heavy creature start. Because now we have another Tithe Bearer, and it's going to get tough for him to attack. And a Worm, that's pretty strong. And a Bulwark Giant. So now we've got the creature heavy field. So much so that we could actually sack the Giant to the Reaper and see what we get next. Because it's kind of done its job. It's a 3/6. It's not that useful to us. That's also not that useful to us. It doesn't trigger anything, but we're going to use it. Now we're getting into stuff. So we sacked the Bulwark Giant after gaining the 5 life and then ended up with, instead of a 3/6, a 4/5 and a 2/2 that now, when we get proliferate stuff, will work. Or we could sack it to the Reaper. I think where it's the smallest thing on the field, and it doesn't grow that much anyway, we're going to start getting some value off of that. Narset's backbreaking. He can no longer draw more than once. We may as well use her, because if she gets hit, she dies anyway. And this gives us a huge in, which is absolutely brutal. Okay, counter creature planeswalker. We can't actually stop that. So, interesting, he didn't counter Narset, which would have stopped that whole exchange, because he would have killed the Narset and I wouldn't have been given the Ugin. So what he did was actually quite bad there. Can use the Catharsis to break this Tithe Bearer player or planeswalker. Oh, it doesn't hit creatures. Right, okay, so it's a lot worse than I thought it was. So we'll tap down the 4/5, break this little stalemate. Now there's a chance we can draw a card off the Grizzly, which we did, which is brutal because that's a Tithe Bearer. So now we're ridiculously ahead on the field. Ashiok also gives us the late game. We've drawn a lot of cards. So we're down to 23 in library, but we've knocked him down to 30 in library. But this removes his graveyard as a resource. It removes searching his library as an option. Swinging the Bulwark Giant makes things awkward, but our own Primordial Worm also makes things awkward. No matter how he blocks, he's going to lose either 1 to a chump. I guess I didn't see that. That's an interesting way because it's got 9 toughness. Crocodile. I think we want to get rid of the giant. It's more defensive. Play a Planeswalker. That's okay. We're so far ahead. I don't think that cost us very much. We would need to get through it eventually. We can counter any creatures or Planeswalkers he plays. He has to get back in spells, and spells would affect his creatures. So the more creatures we get rid of, the worse those spells will be. I'm going to let him have a garbage 2/2 because it's just a 2/2. I'd rather take the chance at drawing rather than guarantee but sack. Going to take more of his cards away. So we're down to 22, he's down to 25. So all the cards we drew are just getting ripped from his deck. Guarantee the draw might be better. I think we'll use her. He doesn't have any cards in hand, so that's bad. We have Bolt Bend, which is even more backbreaking. But he knows we have it, so it's really bad. We don't need 2 Grizzlies. But that does remove our ability to attack, really. Because we could have swung, and then whatever he blocked harshly, we could have sacked to the Reaper. But I think that we're happy to just sit here and let this kind of situation happen. He's got a lot of life. Let's get rid of Ashiok. I'm not keen on him having one of her. We already have so few cards. Honor the Godfair is good. It goes to the Bolt Bend, which is bad because he knows we have it, so he's not going to play into it. Okay, that was dumb because we just put that on the bottom of the deck despite having saved it. So that was a mistake by me, and he'll probably be sat there like, why did you put that on top if you're just going to get rid of it? And the answer is, my friend, I messed up. Just getting rid of all his deck. He's not getting to play it, he's getting 1 card a turn, we're getting more than that. Now I think we'll turn the aggression up. He only has 1, like the Tidebearer bounces a Tidebearer, the rest would either trade or chump. And it looks like he's happy to do some interesting stuff. May as well kill it. We could also sack it, which would be interesting. I think I'll sack it. I'd rather draw a card than kill his 2/2. Those trading is okay. There's a chance we revive it, but we put that to the bottom of the deck. Populace is going to keep growing, which is awkward. Making him sack now won't be very good. We still have a good defensive line. 2-5, 3-6, he can't quite get through. That doesn't work, my friend. Narset's on the board. I'll give him an oops for that. Bit of bad manners. He's not attacking, which is very bad for him. So now we get a Cura, which stacks with a Turret Ogre that also does 2 damage to him, draws as a new card. Omniscience draw. I think we're going to use this aggressively. Because he only gets 1 card, choose a Narset. Destroy more of his deck, so that we're at 15 cards, he's at 14, so he can't just outweight us. And if he does start some draw engines, it's going to be bad for him. Going to leave up mana for the Spark Reaver, because we want to be aggressive here. Actually, you can just bounce those. So that wouldn't do anything, we can't quite be aggressive here. Let's get rid of that Crowvod, I don't like it. It sucks. It's 2-5, we've got a bunch of 4-5s. Skulker's an improvement. Slightly. Cura doesn't have anything to untap, so we'll just end and leave her with a lot of life. Now he's starting to die. We have 5 damage. Bolas's Citadel's interesting because he doesn't have much life to play with. So if he puts himself a little bit too low, he might not think that 6 life is dangerous. But it is, because Omnix plus Catharsis would kill him. Alright, he's given up. We'll chance the random draw, which we missed, but that's okay. Take a look at his hand. Also gives us an amass. If he's got an encounter magic, he has to use it now, or else it just gets discarded. Interesting, he's bolt bending that. Okay, let's resolve that. Because it's target opponent. So that bolt bend didn't do anything, and I had a hunch it might not. So now we can attack, or we can Omnix, get rid of his defenders. It'll draw him a card, which is risky, because he might get something that matters. But only 1 card. Make him sack a creature. We could make him sack the artifact, but we want him to use it. We really want him to do 1 damage to himself, so the Catharsis is lethal. And as long as we swing with everything, he should be dead. Just by sheer force of numbers. We have the Catharsis on top. Show him it, see if it changes anything. I don't think it will. Super dead. Oh wow, that was actually a really interesting game. You don't normally get those with the Omniscience draft. We kind of clawed it away from piece by piece. We both made a couple of mistakes, but that didn't matter too much. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.